welcome once again, my friends. Habbage here, and to all the YouTube folks. Hey, I hope we got audio today, right? We should. All should be good. I double checked. But thanks so much to new friends dropping in, commenting, complimenting the video, being like, "Hey, you should really add audio." Yeah, if you hang around long enough, you get to know we hit bumps every once in a while. It's fun though, right? I mean, you drive down a perfectly flat, smooth road. Sure, that's nice. You go on a unpaved dirt thing through the mountains. You're bouncing all over the place, but it's a blast, right? We all have a party, so sometimes we go off roading here, hit a few bumps, but we love it. So anyway, I'm glad to be talking to you all. I hope you're doing fantastic. Life is grand. It's not quite as beautiful, and it's going downhill today. Tomorrow we got rain and snow. Not like major, massive snow or anything. It's going to be like rainy, snowy mix Friday and Saturday. So cold temps in the 40s Fahrenheit as opposed to the 80s the last couple days. Yesterday, disc golfing out. We went out at like 4:30 in the afternoon. Still up in the upper 70s. Sunny, just gorgeous. So good. So I'm glad you guys are hopefully having the same great days. Say hey in the chat. Appreciate you guys being a part of all this. But hey, let's get the world up so we can start thinking about what we're gonna do today. And guys, I have no idea if you're setting your watches and thinking about what it could be. I'm thinking this one could rival day one, where we got up close to 7 hours or something like that. We played a good bit, and we're gonna do that again. I think today. Oh, kind of see how it's going, how we're feeling. Going at least four, and we'll go from there. But I had an absolute blast yesterday, and is a day two in the world. I think we really got a good foothold here. We got kind of some bearings now in our home, right? Um, okay, we do have sound. It just sound the game was so quiet. I was kind of wondering. All right, we got sound though. No footsteps in our house apparently. So here we are, guys. If for anyone just dropping in, starting with episode 3 on the YouTubes, because the others are multiple hours long, and maybe you don't have time. You're just catching this, showing up in your recommendeds. Hey, welcome. I'm Habbage. Hope you're doing great. This is right outside our spawn in vanilla. Check out the hearts. Hardcore Minecraft. So no mods, no changes, anything like that. It's straight gameplay, right out of the box, so to speak. And if we die, we lose everything. We're also locked in at the hardest difficulty, right? That's the deal with hardcore. Poison can kill us, for instance. There's a few little subtle differences from just hard mode, but main difference being we play for keeps. We go down, it's gone. And we've certainly gone through the trials and tribulations. But yeah, we popped into the world right over beyond those darker Badlands trees, and have spent most of our first episode exploring, right? There's loads of mountains. They kind of start with this peak, and we can call this Spawn Peak, and go up through a beautiful alpine valley area over there, and all the way out eventually to the large ocean that we've taken a long boat trip on. All that was in episode 1. We made a little floor for an eventual boathouse, but it's a bit of a hike, and for advancing the game, I thought we really wanted to be back here, get to work at least laying out where our spawn base was going to be. So here it is. We're going to eventually, this will be the above ground structure. We've talked a lot about it. If you want to hear my thoughts as they kind of came into, we just kind of get inspired. We don't come in with an agenda or anything, but we kind of talked it through in episode 2, and I think this is going to be kind of that grand tourist hotel kind of thing. It's going to be tall, fairly vertical, filling into this cut, and this will ultimately represent about a quarter of our actual base footprint. Most of, at least the functional part, we're going to get set up before we ever probably do much of that building. We've already got a quarter of it dug out, and I think we're going to start today as we, rally up the troops, see who all's going to come and hang out with us today. I think we're going to get started first on a little more digging, right? It's not the most exciting thing in the world, I know. But again, we talked a few times about this. This is a quarter or quadrant of what we want to have on this level as a full basement. So we're going to flip this room this way. This being the hall that will divide them, or the wall with a hallway through it. So we'll go full footprint underneath, same size and shaped room, and these two will kind of be our enchanting potions, all those kinds of utility activities. We'll have lots of space. And then maybe later today, we'll just see how we're feeling, what the vibe is. We may flip again because ultimately on the other side of this wall, we want to do a long full room and make that our storage. So lots and lots and lots to do today. We're going to be, well, forever, right? It's Minecraft. You never run out of things to do. If you did, wouldn't be much of a game, would it? So if we go, let's go right here. If we go here, beauty of an 11 wide room. These will be the dimensions on the near side. And these rooms are 15. If you see, we go 3, 2, 3, 2, and then 5 in the middle. So we got 15 is our full dimension. So if we just go 4 here, there's our shoveling. Although, again, look at all that. Okay. Temporary. Boom, boom, and boom, boom, boom. There we are. And then if we go the 5 on this side, because the width of the room is 11, that should be our dimensions, right? We should be good to go. So I think here we were going 4 in. Boom. And that would leave 3 in the middle. If we just go double spot check that. Oh, we did go higher on these. We'll figure that out. We need a little bit of utility lighting as we carve this sucker out. All right. Well, now. Oop. Almost got greedy there. Yeah, then we got the one of the edge. Did I cut these 2 corners so that we'll know when we get there? I did, and I put up torches. Awesome. I made tea today. No coffee, just a cup of tea, and takes a little bit for that to kick in. Hope you guys are all doing awesome. What were the big events for you guys on a Wednesday night? Anybody do anything super cool and fun? I want to, like I said, disc golf first. Very nice. Played a course I'd never had before, a little north of where I live. It was pretty fun. Nothing, like pretty open, right? In a suburban area. I don't mind telling all you guys. It's the Coal Creek Disc Golf Course, and it's in Erie, Colorado. Shout out to you, Erie. Erie is one of those towns, is old, right? Erie had I think the state of Colorado was achieved its statehood in 1876. It's called the Centennial State because that is 100 years after 1776 when the United States declared independence, right? And there and here. The town of Erie was very contemporary to that, if not a little bit earlier, and all that area, it's kind of up towards Boulder, which we talk about a lot, right? That's my where I went to school, and fun, wonderful place. Um, but all the kind of like suburban old small towns around the outside dated way back because there's a lot of coal underground, right? So a lot of coal mining happened in the 19th century, and crazy like hidden history stuff, right? That not a lot of people are aware of, but there were a lot of violent labor dispute. You know, like the company town and that kind of stuff would put down worker stuff with extreme prejudice, right? You can still go find old concrete machine gun emplacements from like the Depression era after World War One, right? That was in the 19 teens. The Great Depression, starting after the boom of the 1920s in 1929 and so on. And within that kind of time frame, um, workers that tried to dare to unionize or anything like that were dealt with very harshly. And there's also ongoing burning underground fires. Like in some of the where coal seams got lit, if you're mining with equipment or whatever, and it sparks, or back in the day, I don't know how much of it they were using, like oil-based headlamps or anything like that. Um, but if you ignite the coal underground, it will just keep burning. There's not. I was like, what? Why do I not see the door frame? There it is. All right, we got it framed already. Um, so anyway, there's a bunch of suburbs, kind of, or suburbs. They used to just be little small towns outside of Boulder to the east. It kind of to the east, ranging north and south. And some of you may have heard about the Marshall fires that happened 2 years ago over Christmas time, when fire just swept through huge neighborhoods, right? Wildfire burned loads of houses down, but it wasn't so much a forest fire as just tearing through neighborhoods because it was so windy that day, and it was just houses, and not the kind of mountainy forest fires we've come to fear and expect, but different situation. Well, it hit towns of Superior and Louisville, Marshall, which named the fire, and while Marshall has been kind of incorporated into Greater Boulder, um, and lives on in like the name of the Marshall Mesa is up there. But a lot of these, just kind of slowly got absorbed into other municipalities. But Louisville, Lafayette, Longmont, um, Erie, all have boomed in the last 20, but really particularly in the last like 10 years or so. It's all suburban neighborhoods, jammed together, single family houses, that kind of stuff with no yards. But driving through, like, how much do you think these are? I was like, I'm guessing they're like in the $400,000 to $600,000 range, which it still is just mind-boggling to me. Um, and sure enough, the signs on some of the neighborhoods were like, from the 500s, $500,000. Um, for nice and new, but still, houses where they're jamming so many into, 10, 15, 20 acre developments, and they're putting nearly 100 homes just on top of each other inside those. And to justify, I guess, to justify the prices if they can, there's so much square footage in them because they're like 2, 3 story tall with in-car garages and all that. They really, they have just enough grass to where you got to keep like a lawnmower and all that crap to have a 10 by 20 yard backyard that I don't know. I mean, what do you do with a space like that? There's just not much to be done. So I don't know. If you can't guess, not exactly my cup of tea, but uh, people definitely want them, right? They're willing to pay that price. So, uh, wow. Hmm. I guess we can spill into that. We've got our terracotta storage, always a thing, right? Mercifully, we have lots and lots and lots of iron and make lots and lots and lots of tools. And well, let's just make 6 of them. I think we will be able to justify their use as we go. So anyway, this disc golf course is out in what used to be just rolling farmland above mines and all that and pasture type land, right? So it kind of comes down towards the Coal Creek Valley. There's a rail line that kind of runs through, so it's why there's not a lot of development right in that area, right? So the land is just kind of idle. And they're like, hey, let's make this public use. We'll make it disc golf course rather than having to like put in sod and all that and maintain it and water it and all that for uh, a true park. The city can kind of be like, yeah, we're just gonna leave it natural, right? It'll all dry out and this and that, but people can still come in and get exercise. It opens up the views for a lot of those houses, and it was truly beautiful. You kind of some of the holes are um, climb up the side up away from this creek and are still in very open areas. So you get 100 feet or so of elevation up from the lowest points, and you're looking back at the mountains, which it was well before sunset. Still, love summertime long days, but partly cloudy last night. The sun poking through at times, and the mountains just gleaming. Right, springtime. They've still got tons of snow up on the peaks, so they're all white and beautiful and reflecting that sunlight as it gets lower and lower. It was quite an afternoon and evening. I didn't, for the second time throwing discs this spring, I didn't do too terrible. And there were, um, especially on the back, a lot of what just ended up for me being very parable holes. Not a ton of trees, some right along the bottom, kind of in the creek area. And what was dry at the time irrigation ditch all the way through, which is particularly if it was wet, could make things really interesting. As it was, you could just end up with your disc down in it, and you're 5, 6 feet below the ground level and the baskets and all that. So that could added a little degree of difficulty, but basically just nice and wide open. You could, go for distance, and if it wasn't particularly accurate, that was okay because there's, you're not out into a dense thicket of trees or anything like that where you're going to lose your disc. And one of those where, if you were going in July or August, it would probably feel like a bit of a survival game because it would be hot, no shade, and very dry and kind of dusty, particularly right now. And since the grass hasn't filled in or come up, but I think I'd definitely go back for it. And just so great, being out in shorts and a t-shirt and sweating at times when the wind wasn't blowing and the sun was beating down on you. It was warm. It was definitely, because then we went to trivia. It was definitely one of those where I was glad I brought an extra shirt after to change out of before I went to a restaurant, because it was, not only was it like enough to make you sweat, um, but it was dry and dusty and breezy enough that like looked down and I was like, oh my gosh, because like you'd wipe your brow or whatever because you're sweating, and then you'd accidentally touch your shorts or something, and wherever your dampish fingers touched, there was just little like dusty fingerprints where the airborne dust stuck. It was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that's real deal. But it was super fun, super fun, and I, I discovered disc golf. Now it's been a few years. Can't speak highly enough. I was raving the other day when I first came back. I got to play some real golf over the last couple of weeks, and uh, I used to play a lot of golf. Growing up as a kid, I played a lot of par three, and as a young adult, we used to do a lot of like twilight golf after work. Right? They give you a discounted rate if you went at like after 4 o'clock or whatever, and it would be a scramble to get as many of 18 holes in as you could before darkness set in and you just were left to it. Is that right? Something doesn't seem right here, does it? What have I done? 1, 2, 3. How are we gonna count this one? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But then there should be three in between. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, I just never mind. I was like, how did that foolproof system fail? Because I missed the torch. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bonk, bonk. No, we can get rid of that. And then we gotta switch out the floor here, but this gives us our extra space. And I don't know, I kind of like dividing this a little bit. The other room is going to be just continuous, right? It will be a giant area. And again, you can already see, right, when we go up with this cobble, it's got to just get dumped into a different chest because we've got so much of it. So we're going to do, kind of early game, but it may, with that much room, it may well accommodate all the storage room we have. Depending on later game, do we want to move? Do we want to end up finding a spot where we really want to live, or do we want to spread it out between our various Alpine Village and all that kind of stuff? Who knows? After the late in stream yesterday, gold mining, checking out the mine shafts here on the surface, we got lots more coal, so we're doing fairly well there, but won't let this go to waste. And I don't have immediate plans to go down another level in here. I think if we were to want to do more, we would probably build up, right? Because we're going to build outside, we're going to build up. Yep. So we'll keep that in mind. Now, I don't like doing it, but that's our deal. Oh. Junk box. Future arrows of the world. Top that off. I think that's a bit early. Let's go cut our... Damn it, I was supposed to get stone. Everybody must get stone. We need 2 stacks, but better to have it. is really not cooperating well. Oop, oop. There we go. Now, yeah, I think I don't know how well this is gonna fit on this side, right? That would be like right in the middle of the stairs. So we could cut in here, and maybe should we go for consistency? If we did these two instead. Then we'll have um, a little central area. This wall, just on the other side, can have storage areas, but there will be a smaller one, three kind of divided out. We'll have, and that would stick out to at least here, right? And that, well, I guess 2 and 2, right? We take off 4. We've still got 7 in the middle, which would give us 2 wide aisles and then 5 in the middle, so we can do 2-sided storage up and down um, the full length middle with little access all the way across and up and down the aisles. So I think we can put jam quite a bit of storage into um, that area if we want to, and I do. If I were to count this up, I would still have, yeah, I guess five to this side. So, all right, and then 3. Got to double, triple, constantly check because you guys know I'll mess it up if I don't pay attention. Force myself to pay attention. Okay, so that goes there, and then 10 out and back. So soothing here. Just the sound of me and my axe. Whoop, boop, 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 boo, doo, 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 doo. Boop, 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 boop. There. And then from here, this is the wall, right? But we're not going to have a wall on this side. And then this goes, crap. Oh, yeah. I was like, this goes a full 5. Oh, yeah, but the door is 2 of those 5. Yep. Let's go up. Get our torch. We're going to have to figure out lighting, right? Because that will all, but we'll probably just sacrifice some storage space for framing. Right in here, this is probably just about as deadly as it can be, right? Blindly knocking out above your head, no side escape, and potential for gravel, unseen gravel. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that's plenty of light for the moment. How much you want to bet we forget about that torch, though? I think we have to make torches. Obviously, tree chopping is going to be a priority. But I think that may be a part of our next stages. Let's go get make torches, and this is going so fast. I think we'll just knock it out. Um, really, just feels like we're getting warmed up here, and um, I felt the need to go to the crafting table. Get those. Get that. Oh, I did have torches. Oh, not enough. It would be great to just have all that excavating part done. So let's do it. And while we're up here, dump all that. And at least for now, we'll probably have to come back, but let's put those away. Okay. Now, thanks for bearing with me here on the great basement dig. So we need 9. Mm. I'm considering kicking this a little bit wider, actually. But we may not ever need to really. 3 in between. We could certainly put that off till a different time, right? Uh, we could build some initial storage along this wall, but I'm thinking, as we were laying that out, I'd really like to have at least 3 rows between. Oh wait, we should go down here and do this, and then frame it all so we don't accidentally go too far. There we go. See how I learned from what I just talked about? Like, hey, let's back up, and then we don't have to worry about gravel falling on our head. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Okay. Now we can. Oh, let's just. Ooh, there we go. Oh, nice to get some more coal. Let's just take a chunk. I did go all the way up there. I guess that's the next mission. Lift the ceiling. Want these edges to be too wide, just for working. Lets the torchlight kind of maximize a bit too. And there'll be that much less to keep circling in on once we're done. I think once we knock this out, we will have scratched the digging itch for the day. All right, or at least for the early part of the day. But I think we will then be ready for a dual-purpose adventure or trip, at least, because we're gonna want to, I think, go get wood and a bunch of fish so that we have sustained food. Because as you may have noticed, we got a staircase going down to the depths, and we encountered a cave. And uh, I I think we're fully capable now of diving in and adventuring in a cave without too much undue fear or trepidation. But we will have to throw up a ton of. Well, we don't even know how big the cave is. It could just be tiny. It might be no big deal, but it could certainly take a bunch of food to stay healthy if we're running into a lot of skeletons, and it could uh, take just stacks and stacks of torches to get it lit where there's not creepers and skeletons and stuff bothering us as we try to go down to hunt for diamonds. Which hopefully, by I guess I said, oh yeah, we'll be done with digging. We'll be done with this digging. I think the staircase needs to continue, right? Because we gotta get on those diamonds. But we may, in the pursuit of food, the salmon are gonna hopefully give us plenty to cover all our activities for today. But another part of what we may want to do is get some degree of fields set up in the area here so that we can grow some wheat and eventually start breeding cows for steaks and have our own food and leather supply taken care of, right? Now, I'm not thinking that we want to make our full layout bees and trade farms and all that right here because it's going to be so tough to get any villagers in this area. Why have all the crops where we're not going to be actually doing the trading, right? So we'll probably make a different trade enclave, and whether that's way the heck out at those villages we discovered on our boat trip, or if we find other more ideally situated spots, we'll still do some more exploring and all that. But something naturally close to some traders that we can set up a portal to and just get to in that means would probably make a lot more sense. Okay, man, 6 iron picks. We are chewing them up. Let's get this whole little end done. I hope you guys are all having a great day. I'm so excited. We did trivia after disc golf at a really really good food place, and it kind of brought it all home because I don't think I'd been there. The last time I went was last season when the Colorado Avalanche won their last game to clinch the Stanley Cup. It was a big old party, right? We were um, hanging out at a table, and we're not kids, right? We're middle-aged, respectable men and women whenever we go out, but particularly for like Avalanche games and all that. And when we first kind of discovered this place, my friends had been there and were like, "Oh, the food is so good, you got to go check it out." First time I went, they had live music, like single guitar dude playing just jamming awesome music, and there was hockey on TV. So I'm like just pig in heaven, right? You can insert what makes the pig feel like it's in heaven. Um, I was a very happy camper, and um, turns out the food is fantastic. Got to talk to the owner some and all that, and He is originally from Wisconsin, which is the neighboring state to Minnesota, where I grew up, and a lot of cultural similarities and all that kind of stuff between the two. So, we got to talking, and of course, we stayed for a full hockey game and this concert and all that. Not concert, really, but live music and all that. And we're pretty good, right? But I'm Ubering home, waiting for the Uber. We're talking to the owner outside, like, just being friendly. And at the time, they're kind of barely getting by, right? It's like, okay. Well, as I talked about, all the kind of suburban area up there is filling in. And as is often the case when they go, the house building companies go, yeah, we're going to get all this land. It's, undeveloped and cheap, and we're going to build a bunch of houses. The businesses follow on the heels of that, right? And they're not right there. So the place where this is located is kind of like an outdoor mall, and it's been there for a long time. It's had movie theaters and all that kind of stuff, but lots of restaurants have come and gone in that time. Because when it's busy, they do really well and are actually too crowded, like a Friday night or whatever, because there's um, not much competition, right? So if it's like a Friday night or St. Patrick's Day or around Christmas time or whatever, people are like, this is the only place around I can go to, right? There's just not a lot of, uh, I guess we call them tops, right? Or available serving tables and that kind of stuff in the restaurant business to accommodate the busy nights. But in between the busy nights, to keep the lights on, you got to keep a trickle of people coming in. It's always the challenge. It's why restaurants struggle when they have large dining rooms and all that, 'cause you got to pay rent and utilities and all that kind of stuff and staff. Um, but generally speaking, a lot of that sits idle outside of your really peak times. So they were kind of in that mode and were just delighted, right? Like, oh my gosh, you guys are coming. And, of course, a couple apps and some food and all that, and number of rounds of beers, and then, take care of your servers and all that. And they appreciate that. So it was, pretty cool. My buddy is like, "Oh, I've been there 2 nights in a row." We're like, "Well, trivia," but he texted us and be like, "They got trivia going now on Wednesdays." I'm like, "Oh, all right, let's go check it out." He's like, "That will be 3 nights in a row for you." He's like, "Oh yeah, the food is good enough. I'll go back." Um, but yeah, we go in and sit down, and like we couldn't even get in the like bar area, so we're sitting back in the back with like the restaurant tables, and he's like, yeah, if you want to play trivia, apparently you have to get reservations if you want to sit in the bar, and if you want to be here for hockey or basketball games now, you have to reserve like 2 days in advance. I'm like, jeez, okay. But like immediately, well, not immediately, we got a server, and we're hanging out and all that, and hadn't been sitting there too long, and I'm just there as they're running up the answer sheet or whatever, and our server from the bar from the hockey game just walks up to me like a year ago. It's like, "Hey, how's it going? It's so good to see you." Now, I don't know if she in the previous nights talked to our other buddy and been reminded who we all were, but it was so cool. And of course, that night it was just like a part where like afterwards, I'm not a big uh, shots and booze kind of guy, but we're like, oh, we're all gonna do victory shots that night, right? And like had her doing shots and all that, because of course, it's just the bar turned into chaos, right? It's not that often you win a championship outright on a given night, and it was a blast. And she totally was just like picked up, and at one point I saw the owner guy walking by, and I was like, hey, we were about to leave, and I was like, hey, just want to say this is you're keeping this so awesome. We really appreciate it. He's like, hey man, I love hearing that. Thanks so much for coming back. Just total like Midwest feel, small business, not a chain, and they truly appreciate being reminded. Like, oh yeah, you're people that come and go. But I was asking them about this trivia. Like, I don't even remember that you guys had trivia. They're like, oh well, we did some, but it wasn't really popular, and people didn't go, so we stopped it. And then this new company came in and they limit it to 20 teams and are always overfilled. She was like, they even had to start bringing in a second person to do all the scorekeep because they couldn't keep up. So it was pretty fun. I don't know if the format was my absolute favorite, but for first time, as with all trivia, it came down to all or nothing, and we didn't get it. The all or nothing, it was 5. You had to match in order. Disney villains was the category, and it was match the title of the Disney villain theme song. So you didn't see the villain or anything like that. You didn't know anything about it, but you had to match the title of the theme song to the movie, in kind of like a mix match order kind of deal, right? So we switched 2 of them. I think Moana, which I'd never seen, and I think we got the one that I 100% knew for sure was Be Prepared from The Lion King, for Scar, right? Partly because I worked in a movie theater when that movie came out, so I was very familiar with it. And I think it's one of the finest Disney movies going. Those sound like more pillagers. Now, yesterday was kind of a novelty to let the bad omen wear out, but if we're going to go adventuring, I don't really care to carry that around, but we do have a bucket of milk. We can get rid of it. We'll just have to go find a cow. To clear that effect before we really go exploring where we might accidentally wander into a village and trigger a raid. We're not quite there yet. So, yeah, we lost. And it's an all or nothing. You got to have all the songs in the correct order and all that. And a couple did. A couple teams. And congrats to them. It wasn't our familiar competition from some of our other trivia venues, but it was fun, like good groups, at least from what we heard. And we weren't right in the middle of the bar or anything. But well worth, and the food was, oh my gosh, they had appetizer cheese curds. For folks who don't know what a cheese curd is, it's the curds and whey, right? From the cheese making process, and I guess in America where we don't, most people don't really talk about that too much. What you may be familiar with is cottage cheese, right? And the kind of clumps in cottage cheese are the curds, as cheese is setting. I don't know. The kind of clumpy bits are the cheese curds, and if they're then aged, maybe that's when it becomes true cheesy cheese. But it's kind of softer and richer. And they are little bites of heaven, especially when they're deep fried and breaded. And it is a Wisconsin, America's dairy state, as they brand themselves. Real, like local food item, right? In Wisconsin, you ask what's food? Well, it's cheese curds or brats or beer. all go kind of hand in hand in Wisconsin. Great heritage. If you're from Wisconsin, shout out to you. I love all the Wisconsin food. So yeah, we had some cheese curds as an appetizer, and then I had a Reuben, which was outstanding. I'm a big Reuben fan. Are we gonna make? I don't think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna get another iron pick going. not even make it through this top part, which could be bad, right? Because I don't know what's light. You don't need too much light anymore to keep the mobs from spawning. But oh, look at its durability go. So big task here, right? This is a big project, but at least for the time being, I think this is the biggest volume excavation that we got to knock out, and we're still not to an hour, so we are just TCB in it, right? Taking care of the business. Get to this iron. Go ahead and knock it out. See, I never should have put that stone away. We'll throw up the torches that we can, go upstairs, get the stone, fill in around the outside, make a couple more picks, finish this up, and be all set. All right. Zip. Two. Oh. Good enough. We could throw one in the middle there, but I think it's going to be fine because we're going to have storage in between all those anyway. And I guess we did have stairs all the way down. Boop, 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 boop. Even though we don't feel like we need it now, get all this cobble. At some point we'll need it. Guess we can get some of this at least while we're here. Ooh, zombie sounds. What's that all about? What you on about, zombie? Speeds things up nicely. We gotta fill in the floor bits here. That's a lot less pickaxing we're gonna have to do. Okay. Oop, ouch. Bonked my head. Try to get as much light back in here as we can. Perfect. All right. Almost done. Woo. Overflow. Overflow. Dirt and gravel. Cook more iron. All right. This time, if we go 6, I think we should have come pretty close to knocking it out using up 2 picks, knocking out what's left, and then we'll still have all our tools ready for our adventures. There you go. There, and look at that. Our first day iron is finally coming down a bit. And we don't want to forget, we need stone, right? Oh, we should sleep too. Keep the phantoms away. While we're thinking about it. working on this stuff. Probably while we go tree chopping and fishing as well. We should just eat bread that we've gotten out of chests and villages and all that. It's kind of free food. And since it's not quite as high nutrients as the golden carrots or the salmon, better to save those for when we're going mining or caving or nighttime mob battling or whatever. All right, we're already out to second torch on that side. On this side, we already did a big old chunk. We're already at the doorway over here. Well, except for all this stuff, but it's as good as gone, right? Woo-wee! Missed you. This coal. All right. Well, let's save that. Do a little more digging here. Can't say I would be super disappointed if I found the core of all that's left here was just a big pocket of gravel. That would be a little faster. So we got Avalanche hockey tonight. It's gonna be good. Winnipeg is their opposition, and Winnipeg has already locked up the 8th spot in the Western Conference, right? So they're going into the playoffs. They know their position. They don't know who they're going to play yet. I don't think Las Vegas has a locked up number 1 overall yet. But Colorado has 2 games tonight and tomorrow night. And if they win both of them, they are the champs of the Central Division. Not that there's the top seed in the Central, right? There's no division championship or anything like that. There's a Western Conference champion, and I don't think it's possible for them to get that anymore. They can still get into first place, but they can't keep the team in the other division, the Pacific, which is Las Vegas, I believe. That's fine. It would be good though to get the top seed in the Central Division and have home ice for at least 2 rounds. That would be very nice. Because if they can hold that spot, then if anybody upsets the Western Conference, the Pacific champ, in their first 2 rounds, then they would have home ice through 3 rounds. So but it is very tough. Ooh, I wasn't paying attention. Very tough to defend as Stanley Cup champs. It's very tough to get there. You gotta get your way through four 7-game series, best of 7. So at a minimum, if you were the best team ever, I don't think it's ever been done, but if you swept all 4 of those series, you would have to play 16 games. You have to get 16 wins to win the cup. much more likely at least one, if not multiple, of your series are going to go to the full 7 games, right? Because they're so competitive and so uh, highly contested, uh, and they're physical and grueling and all that good stuff of sport, right? So having the home ice is a big advantage. More so even than like having the home crowd is great, right? That always helps for energy and momentum. But in hockey, there's a real tangible advantage, which is um, you get as the home team, you get to send out your players on the ice last, right? So you get to see what the other team, which 5 skaters the other team is sending out on the ice for that particular play or shift, and if there's a face-off and a whistle, so you can go, oh, they're putting out their best guy. We're going to send out our best guy. We're going to send out our best defenseman, or whatever you think is right. But you get to make that call. Where if you're the visitor, the referee will blow the whistle and be like, hey, you got to come. We're going to drop the puck now. Get you guys out here. As the visitor, you have to send your players out, and then the other coach can quickly go, okay, you guys, John, Joe, Sally, whoever. Could be female hockey. Shout out to the international women's hockey championship players, or whatever. I did see there were more highlights on the TV last night. Looked like the final is coming up. I didn't even really catch which teams. Canada, maybe? In Germany or something? I don't know. Shout out to them. As a very young kid, I learned, especially when you're like adolescent boy, you're like, oh yeah, boys are better than girls at sports and all that. Girls aren't tough. I was playing summer league hockey, kind of like a conditioning kind of league, right? Um, and they're just, like it's basically, you parents pay for the ice time, and somebody puts these together, and it's like from all the surrounding communities, right? It's not a given location team or anything like that, but like, hey, we'll make a team, and then you go have matchups. Well, in one of these, it was what, generally speaking, when I was growing up, hockey was a pretty much a boys' sport, and there were all these teams of, let's say we were 12 and 13-year-old boys, right? All playing on teams, playing each other, and in one of these summer leagues to kind of balance it out, they sent out a team of um, like high school age girls, right? Because at the time there was very little. In fact, I don't think there was any high school aged women's hockey at that time. Some girls like would play goalie on high school teams and all that. It wasn't like, oh, there's nobody playing. But as far as the contact and all that, I don't think there was much allowance for women to skate at the high school level out on the ice and be, checking each other, checking the guys and all that kind of stuff. Um, so there were limited opportunities, but this was an all girls team, and they were older. Like it struck us because as we were arriving there for our game, a girl arrived in we thought it was the coolest thing ever. This girl in a pickup truck with like 3 of her teammates, all having their hockey gear in the back. They all come piling out. We're like, just uh, scrape our jaws up off the ground, like, oh, this is so cool. We go out there and we're like, oh, we're gonna get to play the girls, and in true 13 and 14-year-old boy fashion, we're like, oh, I'm gonna check them up against the boards and all that kind of, like, oh yeah, we'll pin them, right? Um, they were having none of it. Oh my gosh, they of that whole summer, they put the hurt on us so bad, and they were tough and physical and really skilled, right? They the scoreboard and just it had to just be a lark for them, right? I mean, I don't care if you're a man or a woman or anything else. You got like 3-4 years of age and development at those critical years. You're like, these are kids, and they would drop the shoulder and just blow us up, and we were probably never happier to be just demolished on the ice rink. I just got blown up by a Czech. Not something you usually go bragging about, but it certainly softened the blow a little bit when it was girls doing it. Since they were non-discriminate in, so it wasn't like, oh man, only Billy got hit by the no. They wiped the floor with our team. A fun memory. And so shout out women and shout out women hockey players. You guys are true ambassadors, breaking down. And again, since I've been an adult, the Olympics and international play has come so far. I think collegiately as well, women's hockey is becoming quite a bit more. And I don't know if that's a Title IX deal or how that works, how many schools there are. Certainly in the college level, it's not like football or baseball or track or anything like that. Not as many schools have hockey programs. For one thing, it's expensive. You got to have the facility. You got to have an ice rink, right? So you got to have the facilities, and you got to have a culture or a fan base that supports it. And they're just not that prolific along. It's basically the northeastern United States. When I was growing up, it was the WCHA, which was the West Coast Hockey Association. And that was kind of the mountain time zones. So like Denver University, a private school here in Colorado, and Colorado College, which is down in the Springs, they both have hockey programs. Both in Colorado Springs, which was the home of the U.S. Olympic team organization, whatever, at least they were. I don't know if they still are. I think it might have moved to Salt Lake City. But for a long time, Colorado Springs was the home. So that's why the two and Air Force. I think Air Force has a hockey team too. But those three kind of are all gathered. Denver, of course, has always had ice rinks and things like that. So DU had one, and then the spring schools had access to the ice arena on the Air Academy. Your government tax dollars at work, U.S. homies, my fellow Americans. Anyway, Alaska, the kind of mountain states, and the Midwest, so primarily Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, all hockey kind of hotbeds, right? And then you had the East Coast of the United States, the Northeast primarily, New York and New England, so Vermont, New Hampshire, a lot of schools in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. So we kind of always had East Coast or West Coast hockey, and not much else around the country. With the expansion of the NHL, that's changing a little bit, but colleges in particular don't look to really buy into that or grow that for themselves individually. Anyway, I like talking hockey. I can't wait for tonight. I can't wait for, as much as I am going to enjoy the next two nights, I can't wait for Friday to be over. I hope the Avs get the 2 wins and get the best seed possible. But then we're on into the playoffs, and it's going to be fantastic. All right, we finished excavating. Did we do everything we needed to with the stone? I think so, right? We got perfectly set up rooms. Let's just make sure. That's our staircase hole. Looking at the ceilings, looking at the floors, making sure there's no random andesite or something hiding in a wall. I think we filled in the dirt holes and stuff. Those are pretty easy to spot, but nothing that's going to catch and trigger me later on. All right, very clean, very sterile. That's fine. We'll do all our decorative stuff, but we've got the space. Now, what we don't have are enough pieces of wood. The chests can be anything, so we can use whatever kind of trees we want for that. But the paneling or the framing for the chests doesn't have to be wood, but I often use that. Can we craft stairs and stuff out of terracotta? I think we can we? I mean, we could use concrete. Yeah, there's nothing there. What is the recipe for concrete? Okay, so it's 4 and 4 and then a die. And what if there's no die? Do we have enough just to play around with? I rarely use concrete. I've certainly watched a number of John Bam's builds where concrete has been featured prominently. So if we do no die, I don't know if you can. Zoop. Can we replace it? No. No. So it has to have a die? Can it be a... That's our food. See, I told you I'm going to mess that up a million times. Kind of hate to waste a bone. This could be a valuable crop growing bone meal. Oh, I'm not even going to have enough. We're not ready for that yet. We could use concrete, though, I think. We could use terracotta as, like, the end caps. We could make sandstone. We could use, like, the red sand to make sandstone stairs or smooth sandstone stairs. I'm talking about, like, the... You guys have seen the storage before, right? If we do 3 high of chests, and then we have the half slabs or stairs or whatever so they can open, but can have that going up and melding into the ceiling. It allows for a full hung ceiling, lighting, and you know, signs to tell us what's inside them if we don't put those on the chest themselves. Might do a row of maps. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, I like the wood mixed in there heavily, but we could mix that up a little bit. We'll see. For now, though, we need loads of trees and loads of fish. And do we want to... We know we can go a really long way that way, and it's all badlands. We know what lies that way, going on like 8,000 blocks between boat and land. We peeked our way out this way a little bit. We didn't see any water, or significant water, but there's certainly trees and hills and all that. And we saw that opened up to savanna stuff eventually. Kind of like to double this up as exploration as well. Got everything we need, nothing we don't, I think. Let's go. I did consider just spending this time to cut our way back over to the beach house again and get the salmon there and work on establishing a path that we could use. I don't want to do too much here is clear out the trees, right? Because we're going to have our hotel and everything up above. And I don't want it to just be barren. But I do think a little underbrush clearing at least would help us move about. You guys leave the jungle bushes on the ground. The trees I love leaving. I don't like the underbrush. Too many creepers hanging out. A little rain. Game's like, oh, you've been hanging out inside for how long? All right, well, got you now, sucker. Axe. There we go. as many as possible of these little ground leaf block things to DK. And I've got a nice big tree here, so let's get this out. Excuse me, I was going to cough, and I almost held the mic right into my cough. Wouldn't have been unpleasant. Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba, ba-ba. That's my version of the Minecraft new song thing. You think it was good? I hear spider. Can I sleep then? Wait, this is just rainy rain, right? What's a spider doing? I don't think it's going to let me sleep. Oh, it is. Oh, wow. Okay. There she is. Spawn Mountain. See the little bumps? I think that's a clouds thing. Might be part of why we turned those off. I didn't remember them until the other day. Maybe it's new. Shout out Microsoft for the Windows update you guys gave me today. And then immediately, so right before I was about to stream, I was like, hey, Windows has an update for you. And it was the monthly big boy, right? Because it took like 6 minutes to apply. And then immediately after, Minecraft was like, you can have an update for your launch. I was like, okay, let's do that too. So I don't know if there was if those two went hand in hand, but that's certainly a nice thing about having the favorite game maintained and updated by the same people that maintain and update all of our operating systems. I don't know. Shout out if you're Mac. Shout out if you're Linux. People still use Linux much anymore? Maybe I've just kind of outgrown it. I mean that was my wheelhouse because I was a Solaris system and network administrator. So you want me to be really dangerous? That was how I did it. Never so much on Windows though. Again, lots of melons around, so I haven't been too worried about gathering them up. Now, in our ranging here, we could get some pigos. At least at the moment, I'm content to stay a little close, and we'll probably run home. Among other things that I'm now thinking about, I think we should have brought the bucket of milk, right? Because if we do pick up a bad omen in our travels, we can clear it. Probably find other cows out on their own, but still be able to go access villages and stuff. Right? Talked about it earlier. Never ended up encountering those pillagers. Two other ones. Little blended forest. This is where I think we can leave a few. Let's get into the forest a bit, right? I always like to leave the boundary, but if we go, oh, hey, donkey, forest donkey, the rare woodlands donkey. Hey, buddy, you wanna come live with me? Can. Yeah, you do. Awesome. All right, well, we'll try to make that happen. Don't get too lost. I'm going to clear out some of these trees so it'll be easier to find you. Remember, we got a couple name tags yesterday. So we'll try to eventually get some names going. Right now, every level feels pretty precious, right? Because we're going to want to get some enchanting done. And we don't have much in the way of XP farms yet. But for now, we just need a whole bunch of chests. Right? Let's just kind of. Ooh, ravine. Zombie. Hope he's not coming up out of the ground to get me. Pumpkin. Let's. I know we have the couple seeds, but let's grab a pumpkin or a few. Won't try to take them all out of the area, but a couple to get a crop going. Ooh, look at that. A little light around this cave entrance isn't the worst thing in the world. Could be future fun there, right? Plans for future fun. That's what we got. Uh, that doesn't really seem to set up to go marsh of anywhere. So let's go around the outside. Badlands are stretching out. Ooh, look at all that future fun we could be having in there. Uh, we had some hopes for dungeons, but didn't really find anything too great in the mines exploration yesterday. So a dungeon would be good, but I think in our pursuit of supplies and just general lay of the land stuff, might be unlikely for us to find too much of that. Oh, but I would very much like to get back underground. The later parts of today, start clearing out that cave that ran into our stairs, and see if we can continue our pursuit of diamonds down deep. Got 3 diamonds sitting. We haven't done anything with them yet. Oh no, we have 5 now, right? Because we picked up. I think we had 3 out of boat loots from day 1, and then we got 2 more in a minecart chest yesterday, right? So I think we got 5. That could be a sword and a pick. It could be a sword and enchanting table, but we still would need the pick to get some obsidian. So there's not. Man, I saw some leaves like layered there, and I thought creeper. So I think we'll just keep working the edge here. Leaving the tree boundary, but kind of cutting a road a little bit. Oh, there's an apple. Always good to backtrack a little bit for apples, right? Because at the moment we don't have a ton of gold. I should follow my own advice here. See if there's any others back. But we are sitting right on top of the biome full of gold, so it's not ridiculous to think we're gonna have some. And gold apples are great. We did go ahead and make a bunch before we left the boathouse the other day, because we'd found some broken portals and snatched up some gold blocks. So we were able to make 6, I think, 6 gold apples. We picked up a few others from chests and whatnot. Pretty good. All right, I think that's as far as we can hope for apples. Got two though. Look at that. Almost two stacks of oak, almost a stack of birch, some odd jungle wood. Doing too bad. Not the most directive roads that we've cleared here. Let's oops. Get that. Oh, that that is the part we don't want to go out on. Do 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 do. I don't know that this is really gonna help clear anything. Pretty densely packed trees in here. Uh, this is the way we came before. It's like I'm just right in the middle of a bunch of leaves. I think we're still a little closer to the edge, maybe, than we had been. There we go. Got some acacia trees up there. Uh-oh. See? That's what I was talking about the milk for. Uh, see if we can passively avoid confrontation. Let them live their lives. They don't bother us, we don't bother them. As far as we know, there's no villagers right around here. Do 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 do. So I don't think we came out this far this way, but we did climb up on some hills and look in this direction. And I think we saw like grasslands and stuff opening up in the distance. Um, Certainly grab some more acacia wood. No beef without. No! Oh my gosh! Oh, I didn't have time to turn and get the shield up. I just jumped up and fortunately got a little bit away. Wow, where did that come from? Uh, Thanks, game. Like we just slept. There was no real nighttime. I don't think this was a cave. Just throwing unsanctioned creepers at me, I guess. See how it is. All right, that'll wake you up. What are you feeling alert? Heads on swivels? I did mention the other. I like, thought I saw one in the leaves. Maybe it followed us out of the woods. Um, I'm just gonna look everywhere. Sorry if it's frantic on the camera shifts, but leave that one kind of on the hilltop. Do 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 do. Now, I think it's I don't know what's appropriate to do something along the lines of this. That. We have quite enough here, did we?